Hey guys, Josh here, and on September 1st, Ooblets released for the Nintendo Switch after being available in early access for a while on the Epic Game Stores and Xbox, and today I would like to give you my thoughts on this game after having played it for a bit over 10 hours. Keep in mind, this is not a full review as I have not finished everything the game has to offer yet, but it should be enough to give you a good idea of what the game is about and then decide if it's for you or not. Before I talk about the game, however, I just want to address the fact that there has been some controversy surrounding the developer Glumberland. I won't go into details as that would be a whole video on its own. Look it up if you're interested, but it was hard for me to decide whether or not I should make a video on this game. On one hand, I'm not feeling very comfortable supporting the developer. On the other hand, a lot of viewers have been wanting me to cover this game, and it did look like a fun game, so I decided to buy it, and I'll review the game for what it is. I just wanted to take a minute to mention this. It's probably not a big deal to most people, but it is important for me to know who I'm supporting when I buy a game, so just something to consider if you want. But now let's talk about the game, and the first thing you'll do when you jump into Ooblets is create your character. Initially, it may seem like you only have a few options of clothing and hair, but don't worry because you will unlock a lot more as you play, and there's actually quite a good selection. I think if you like customization in general, you will have a lot to enjoy in this game. But when your character is done, you will arrive in Badge Town on Oob Island, where you just moved in order to have a fresh start in life, and it's definitely somewhere I would also go if I was looking for a fresh start because it's extremely cozy, colorful, and filled with lovely, unique characters. You will quickly notice that the dialogues are all a bit quirky, which makes the game funny and very lighthearted. I really just enjoy the whole atmosphere of Ooblets as well as the art style. It's a very simple and cute cel-shaded look. It reminds me of another game I like called Lemon Cake, which you should definitely check out, by the way. All the characters look different and are bursting with personality. The animations are cute and funny, like the way your character runs, or the Ooblets when they're dancing, and overall it just has a lot of charm. So the coziness factor is definitely there in Ooblets, and the game is pleasing to the eye. I should also say that I played the Switch version and it does run pretty well. I did not notice any frame rate drops or bugs. There are quite a few loading screens, but they are reasonably short. Even though I have not encountered any bugs myself, there are some pretty important ones. So there is a feature in this game where you can open your own shop, but the developers said that there's a bug in the Switch version right now and we shouldn't open our shops yet. So keep that warning in mind if you're planning on playing the Switch version, and follow the developers on Twitter to know when the issue is fixed. So obviously I won't be able to review the shop portion of the game because it's not working right now, but know that you can open a shop in Ooblets. Other than that, in terms of performance, it was pretty good. So what are Ooblets exactly? Well, they're little creatures, kind of like Pokemon, and they can be used to accomplish tasks on your farm or participate in dance battles. You will be given your first Ooblet as you arrive on the island and choose a club. Each Ooblet is different as they will be adding unique cards to your deck, which brings me to talking about the combat. The combat in this game is card-based, and each turn you will have a hand that comprises of a mix of generic cards and also unique ones linked to your Ooblets, and each card will cost a certain amount of beats. Think of these like action points. The goal of each battle will be to reach a certain amount of points before your opponent, and cards will do things like give you points, steal points from the opponent, give you an extra beat, or add buffs and debuffs that will make other cards stronger or weaker. The combat is pretty simple at first, but as you get more Ooblets and level them up, you will get a wider variety of cards, which will allow you to do a bit of strategy. But to be fair, even with more cards, it does remain pretty simple. I do appreciate the fact that the developers did try something a bit different here with their combat system, but I think it could have been made a lot better. For example, since the whole gimmick is that they're doing dance battles, I thought there would be some sort of rhythm mechanic, but besides the fact that action points are called beats, the gameplay has nothing to do with music, which I think is a missed opportunity. What if you had to pick the cards on the actual beat of the music? Maybe having the right timing could increase the effects of a card or something like that. Since the combat is pretty simple, I think this could have made things more interesting, and players would have to make quicker decisions following the beat of the music, but that's not the case here. The combat music is also pretty generic, even though it changes from time to time. So yeah, overall the combat system is not bad, but I wish they went a little bit deeper with the music gimmick. After you defeat an Ooblet, they will give you a seed which you can then plant and grow into your own Ooblet. There are tons of different Ooblets and each come in common and rarer varieties, so if you want to catch them all, that will definitely be a fun challenge for you. Besides Ooblets, you can also grow crops, as this is part creature collecting game, part farming game. You can buy seeds from the store, till the ground with your hoe, plant the seeds, water them, harvest them. One mechanic I found interesting, as it is a bit different than what I'm used to, is that crops require to be wet for a certain amount of time before they're ready to harvest. For example, a carrot, which is this universe version of a carrot, needs to be wet for 1.5 days before it is ready to harvest. So once you water it, the countdown will start going, and as soon as the soil dries, it will stop, and you will need to water it again for the countdown to keep going. In most games, you would just water once a day, and after a certain amount of days, it would be ready to harvest in the morning. But here it is slightly different, so even though in the end it's not anything revolutionary, I like to see that they try to do something different. One thing that it does though, at least for me, is that if you plant and water crops at different times of the day, which will inevitably happen, they will get dry or ready to harvest at different times as well. So when playing Ooblets, I found myself going back to my farm multiple times a day just to manage my crops, instead of just once a day like I would do in most farming games. It's not necessarily a bad or a good thing, it's just a little bit different, but something to keep in mind as some people could find this annoying. Weeds will also grow on your crops and you will have to weed them out to keep your crops growing. You can also place wooden tiles around your soil to prevent weeds from spreading. I think this is a fun idea as we rarely have to worry about weeds in farming games, so this little touch of realism makes farming a bit more engaging. Another mechanic I like is the farming mode, so when you farm, you no longer directly control your character. Instead, you just move a cursor over a grid, and it makes it really easy to plant, water, and harvest your crops. Many farming games have this problem where you sometimes aim at the wrong tile of soil by accident, but the team behind Ooblets found a great solution to that. As you play, you will also unlock sprinklers to water crops automatically, and machines like a grinder and a keg called Crunchsters and Swooshler, because this game is quirky. You will have to assign Ooblets to operate these machines, and they will allow you to transform your crops into other products. You can then sell your crops or products, use them for cooking, or complete orders in order to get gummies, which is the main currency in this game. Gummies can be used to purchase new seeds, a better watering can, a better bag, new clothes or furniture to decorate your house. At first, each store will have limited options, but as you play and accomplish various tasks, you will earn wishes, which is a different type of currency that can be used towards things like shop upgrades, a bigger farm, new crafting recipes, or even a faster running speed. There's always something else to upgrade and look forward to. In town, you'll also find tons of materials to collect, such as mushrooms, plants and branches, which will be used for crafting and completing quests. Each action you do will consume a bit of energy, which can be replenished by eating or taking a nap in your bed, which will advance the time a bit as well. Days are pretty long in this game, so as long as you have energy, you will be able to do a lot of things. And once the evening comes, you can sleep until the next morning, but before then you can only take naps, so I often found myself taking 3 or even 4 naps in a row just to make the time pass and get to the next day. If you like long days and taking your time to do a lot of things, you will be pleased with a slower pace, but for me personally, I kind of wish days were a bit shorter or that we had the ability to sleep early. In your free time, you can also talk with the different villagers or give them some gifts, which will boost your relationships, and you will get different quirky items like music instruments that you can play while running around town, or even accessories for your different Ooblets to wear. I found it fun to talk with the villagers just to see what kind of funny dialogue they would come up with on that day, but don't expect any deep relationship system or anything like that. It's all fairly simple. And that's pretty much what I think of Ooblets as a whole. It's cute, lighthearted, quirky, but simple. It has many of the mechanics you would expect from a farming game and a few innovative ideas, like the card-based battle system, but some of these features don't feel fully fleshed out, and I think they could have done more to make them more engaging. For this reason, I don't think this game will keep me playing 30, 50, or 100 hours, or even more, as many other farming games did for me this year, but maybe it will for you, especially if you like the idea of collecting all of the different Ooblets and completing everything. I definitely enjoyed my time with this game. It's fun, and if you're looking to try something new, or something that's really easy to pick up and play short sessions, especially for the Nintendo Switch where it can play on the go, I think this could be a good game for you. So let me know what you think. Have you played Ooblets, or are you planning to? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Leave a like and subscribe for more farming sims content like this, and I'll see you all in the next video.